The last time I drove this rig, I was driving down the road and the brake pedal went way down to the floor and the old brake light came on. So I know we got a brake leak somewhere. Probably a rusted out brake line, maybe a caliper or a wheel cylinder. I think that's where we're gonna have to start. As you can see inside this reservoir, we're split into two different sections. The rear section, or the side closest to the firewall, is actually for the front brakes. The further section, or towards the front of the vehicle, is actually for the rear brakes. And as you can tell, the one in the front is completely empty, which tells us that we have a leak somewhere in the rear brake system. So before we get started, we're going to need to fill the brake fluid so that we can pump up the system and figure out where it's escaping from. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm out of brake fluid, so we're going to have to go to the parts store. I'll show you something awful convenient about where I live. As if I walk right out here to my front and turn right. Let's go get some brake fluid. Now that we got some brake fluid, let's fill her up. I'm not going to fill it all the way because it's probably just going to leak out again. I just want to make sure there's enough in there that when I pump the pedal up, I'll be able to see where it's leaking from. And since I know for sure we're going to be dealing with a leak and probably laying under the truck, we're going to go ahead and jack it up. Okay, now that the truck's safely jacked up, what we're going to do is position the camera to aim underneath the truck. I'm going to pump up the pedal and we're going to see where the fluid's coming out. Alright, I must have pumped the brake pedal on this thing 100 times and no signs of a leak. So what we're going to do is just investigate, starting at the master cylinder, work our way out. So we can see coming off the master cylinder, these lines look great. They go down into the proportioning valve slash ABS unit. These lines going out of there look pretty good. Not great, but not leaking. Let's go under. Let's go ahead and start at the left front for no other reason than it's the closest. Let's see. Hose looks good. We'll look at the line under the hood. Caliper, although rusty and covered in spider webs and grass, does not appear to be leaking. To the rear. We can look up in here at the rear line. This one's actually been replaced. I've done a couple lines on this in the past. This must have been one of them. Lots of rust. Ooh. Not looking so great right there, but it's not wet. We're gonna go ahead and pop the rear drum off so we can take a look at the wheel cylinder. I don't remember why I had wheel spacers on this, but I did. I just thought they were cool. We got problems. Actually not sure if this is brake fluid or gear oil. We're gonna dive a little further, but we may have found our problem. Safety first. Sometimes this seal right down here, called the axle seal, will leak and it'll allow gear oil from the differential to make its way out, and that'll contaminate the brakes. But this is really bone dry in here, so that's not leaking. I'm going to show you how to inspect a wheel cylinder. And there is, if it's not the only leak, it's definitely a leak. We need a rear wheel cylinder. Let's check this side. And most likely we found our culprit. Let's go ahead and check the passenger side. We do have some something leaking. The axle seal looks okay. Let's inspect our wheel cylinder. And as you can see, this side is wet as well. So we need both rear wheel cylinders. Alright, so we found our problem. That's good. So what we're gonna do, the leaking wheel cylinders have coated the brake shoes with this residue. Those brake shoes are now junk, which is, it's fine. They're getting a little close anyway, not really on this side, but on the other side. So we're gonna do new wheel cylinders, new shoes, new hardware kits. Always do hardware kits when you do brakes. I'm gonna clean up and reuse the drums. Somewhat because they look okay. The other part, they've gotten really expensive and I'm cheap, so. Oftentimes when we're talking about rear drum brakes, there's multiple options, and usually it depends on the size of this drum, which from the factory would have had some sort of a marking somewhere to indicate the diameter, which is long since filled with rust. We're not going to be able to read it. So we're just going to simply flip this over, measure approximate inside diameter. As you can see, this one's about 10 inches. I'm assuming that'll be one of the options. Back in a minute. Okay, called my two most common places where I get parts from. Napa right next door. They want $21.84 a piece for wheel cylinders, $36.99 for bonded shoes, $14.24 for a hardware kit for $94.91 of a total. AutoZone in East Lansing wants $15 a piece for wheel cylinders, $28.99 for shoes, and $9.79 for hardware. Grand total $68.78. So, would I drive to East Lansing to save $26? Abso-friggin-lutely. But if you like the story of old Gaylord and you want to see more, follow me. Give me a like.